Well hey, it's Brandon, and I'm in a dilemma. See, I love video games and all that, but man, I fucking suck at them. But then I was thinking, what if there was a fun party game I could play that required very little skill and maybe a bit too much luck? Oh, but I'm not done yet. See, I also want it to be an installment of a series that's been going on for 20 years now, and also have it be very mediocre, forgettable, and I'll drop it within a week until I'm invited to a party. Huh. And there it is.
Mario Party, a spin-off title of the Mario franchise released back in 1998 for the Nintendo 64. Everyone has played one of these games, or at least knows about them. Quick explanation just in case. Ever play a board game?
Depends on if I can play it with a Nintendo console.
4 people take turns rolling a dice and moving spaces. After everyone rolls once, a minigame will start up that lets the players compete for coins. Your goal is to collect enough coins to buy a star that's placed randomly on the map. Whoever has the most of them by the end of the game wins. Of course, there's also certain features such as items that can help you get closer to the star and special event spaces that will trigger a gimmick to either help or harm you. And that's the basic fundamentals. But as popular as these games were, they are not without flaws, which is especially true when it comes to the more recent installments. Sure, the older ones consisted of their own pile of unfair bullshit that still continues to break me.
Yeah, I am emotionally unstable because of this.
But I'd be here all day discussing each and every one of those. Listen, I'm all for wasting my life on anything pointless, Exhibit A. But even the type of people who buy this instead of living essentials also have standards if you dig deep enough. Okay, picture this. It's 2012, the world is ending, and there is one question on everybody's mind. Why the hell does Mario Party have a car? Mario Party 9! Hey, you know what this board game needed? Vehicular transportation, even less free will. Yeah, this thing here marked the beginning of the dreadful car mechanic, as well as a decline in approval for this series. Unless you're IGN and just hated its existence from the start. Cracks were definitely showing with previous installments, I won't deny, though this game here would end up being the nail in the coffin. So, back in 2012, the company developing Mario Party was changed from Hudson Soft, who have been designing all the previous titles, aka the good ones, to ND Cube and their team, responsible for all the entries in the series from that point on, aka the bad ones. It's like looking at a murder. Essentially, someone working on the game had a grudge against enjoying things, and now instead of all individual players running around the board going after stars, everyone is now grouped in a small car, all moving down one path together from start to finish, collecting mini stars and listening to the most annoying dice roll sound effect I've ever heard. Just feels wrong. So after multiple years of bad choices, straight up ignorance, and people pretty much just giving up on the series, we eventually got a change in 2018 when Nintendo announced a new entry for their most recent platform, the Nintendo Switch. And while still developed by ND Cube, this time it promised to be a return to the classic Mario Party formula that we've all grown to love since the N64 days. Finally! Classic styled boards, regular stars, items other than dice blocks, and that stupid fucking car is gone? God is real and I can start stripping people of their happiness the way he intended, without 3 other people breathing down my neck. Needless to say, a lot of fans were pretty excited for the return to form, myself included. Last Mario Party game I played before that was Star Rush. I bought it from GameStop, then returned the thing to get a discount on another game a week later. You know, it was worth that $3 off too, because I don't even remember what I traded it for. But eventually, the day finally came. October 5th arrived, people ran into their local Walmarts, Targets, and maybe GameStops if they really had no other option, saying those 9 words no one ever thought would be spoken again.
Yeah, I would like to buy the newest Mario Party.
It's beautiful. Look at that box art. See, this is something that lets you know you're gonna have fun. And I really love how the font screams, please never use me again. But let's get real here. You know why I'm talking about this. I know why I'm talking about this. No, a game can't just be good and that be the end of it. Very clear to see that there are still tons of flaws here, despite the attempt to make something that could hold a candle to the originals. However, that's not to say it's void of any value though. So I'll be going over everything this game did right before I start obliterating.
And also so I can justify being an asshole because I said some nice stuff as well.
Now, we already know about the obvious changes here. We're working with a better console, so the graphics are nicer, gameplay's more similar to the classic titles, cars gone, all good stuff here. Plus, there are a lot more details and features that I can actually appreciate. For instance, each board has their own gimmick in place to make sure that no one is at a complete advantage, whether it be changing the price of the star or needing to land on a specific spot to progress. Not the best features I've ever seen, but they managed to do their job. The allies that can add more to your role and help out during some minigames, as well as the character-specific dice blocks, which consist of higher number rolls, but with certain risks, are both enjoyable and bring extra strategy to the game. Plus, look at some of those combinations. Like, how did we get here? There's now 20 characters to choose from, with Diddy Kong being a part of the roster, oddly enough. I mean, that's kinda cool. Can't play as Toad, however, so gonna have to mark points off for that. What else?
Nope, that's pretty much it.
Great, wow, this sounds like an awesome game. How could there be any flaws here, Brandon? Well, they're a lot more prominent than you might think. I've just been solely focusing on small little details I personally like about something that's just overall really shitty.
Hey, look at that, you just learned how journalism works.
Now we get to talk about the real game here. Yeah, nothing said previously was genuine, how dare you assume otherwise? Did they not know what game they were making music for? Because it's the most non-Mario Party music I've ever heard. Like, I'm sure there was some sort of idea or intention behind it, but I don't think it's gonna warrant any reaction like this.
Oh shit, is that the sound of Mario Party?
Oh, look at that, you got a whole bunch of 4 fucking boards to choose from. The hell? How do you double the character roster but decrease the number of areas to play with them on? For comparison, the first Mario Party game released back in 1998 on the Nintendo 64 had 8. A whole double the amount of boards compared to an installment of the same series made 20 years later. It hurts to know this was a conscious decision. And while we're on the topic of boards and shrinking things and poor development choices, look how tiny this is. Again, bringing up the original Mario Party for N64. The saddest size comparison I've ever seen. This is also the reason why double dice are completely missing from the game, and why standard dice blocks only go up to 6 instead of 10 now. A detail I didn't really notice at first, until I decided to use a mushroom to boost my roll higher than 6 and moved halfway around the board in one turn. Of course, Mario Party 9 did this as well, though the boards in that game didn't loop, they were a straight path. But Brandon, what about the beach area? It's pretty large. The hell are you talking about? It's 4 small circular paths, spread out and linked together. You ever used a rolling pin? Yeah, that was their strategy here. And speaking of unnecessarily extending things, why does this segment towards the end of the game last fucking forever? It's basically just a whole spew about how all the spaces will give and take more coins than usual, then Kamek strolls in, making all the bad luck spaces even worse. But for some reason, they have to show every single one change individually like I didn't get it the first time. This is like a whole minute of shit I already know, and you tell me every game, can we not? Something else annoying is that the game has to be played with a single Joy-Con, mainly because a good portion of the entire thing is motion control based. Which I can understand, the Switch improved motion controls by a substantial amount compared to the Wii, so it makes sense they'd want to utilize it. But I don't care what they want, I'm a consumer, damn it. Let's see, what else? A lot of the new and reoccurring items are just watered down versions of their much better earlier counterparts. They broke the naming format. Did anyone actually use this feature or even play the side modes other than to unlock a character? This high five thing is patronizing as all hell, not to mention unnecessary. The process of moving the star takes way too long and I still can't play as Toad! And now, you might be thinking, good lord, Brandon, these are just nitpicks. I'm sure the overall game itself is still fine, right?
Yeah, it is.
Listen, it's Mario Party with the basic fundamentals in place. As unnecessary as all the extra modes like Partner Party, Challenge Road, and even that really boring raft thing that Nintendo tried to make a main selling point are, it's still gonna be a decent game no matter how bad you shred it of any other decent qualities. And I believe this is how a lot of people looked at the game. Just good enough. Plus, what other options were there? The previous few titles beforehand were ew. And unless you want to bust out your Wii, GameCube, or N64, providing you even have those, this is all you got, especially for people just getting back into Nintendo because of the Switch. That was the case, however, until just recently, when the next entry in this godforsaken catalog, Mario Party Superstars, launched on October 29th of this year, essentially being a remake of boards and minigames from the first handful of titles in the series, also known as the Mario Parties that didn't suck. And you know what? It's actually really good. Not just okay, genuinely a solid addition to the series. Makes sense though, it's pretty much just an HD version of the classic games. Not really a lot of room to fuck up here. But because of the existence of this thing in its entirety, the previous Mario Party ain't looking too hot over there anymore. Kinda like being around someone more attractive than you. You may not be bad looking, but there's always a better option. Alright, so I've been talking big game about Superstars, but what exactly makes it better other than, Oh, does it, I don't know, improve on anything?
Well...
The boards are longer and have more interesting gimmicks. You can now play with a standard controller. The overall game itself is a lot faster paced, with 10 turns only taking about 30 minutes instead of an hour. There's a lot more items that are all useful. Motion controls are gone. Most of the minigames are way more interesting in my opinion. You can play on 5 different boards instead of 4. Yes, I know it's only by 1, but it does make a difference, and there aren't a bunch of stupid side modes. But I still can't play as Toad. Nintendo might as well save themselves a few bucks and just stop mass producing Super Mario Party. I swear to God, if you ever see someone actively choose this game over Superstars, run. And look, I'm not expecting perfection here. Poor decisions will always be made during the development of any game, or just life in general. Look, I'm making one right now. But I guess it doesn't matter anyways, considering the fact that Super Mario Party came out 3 years before its better in every way sequel. So anyone who wanted to play the new one probably already had the old one, alongside the rest of Earth. Seriously, it's Nintendo's 7th best-selling game for the Switch. Where did we go wrong? Is it as bad as Mario Party 9, 10, Star Rush, or Island Tour? No, is the short answer. Long answer being not an absolute train wreck, but the nicest thing I can say about it is at least it didn't kill me. You know what's funny about this whole situation? The fact that they didn't even need to recreate the older Mario Party games to make a good Mario Party. If you take out all the reused boards, minigames, items, and everything else, then replace it with all original, unique ideas that are equally as fun but bring their own twist to shake up the gameplay, then this entire game would have still been just as fun. The reason Mario Party Superstars works so well isn't because they brought back 20-year-old minigames so everyone can get off to nostalgia, it's because all that older shit actually worked. People like the original games for a reason, because it was fun and it worked. Unfortunately, however, I doubt that's how Nintendo or NDCube are gonna see it. I'm pretty sure they'll just notice how the entry with the nostalgia is more successful than the one without it and go from there. Being in hell is great.
Well, alright. Moral time. So, what'd we all learn? Brilliant.